I love pecky playing, staccatos that is. And playing staccatos evenly over different dynamics is what Clodomir's third study is all about. In a moment, I'm going to play my best rendition of the study for you, and then we're going into the practice room where I'm going to share what I did in order to prepare for it. But first, I'd like to take a sec to introduce myself in case you're new here. And well, if you are, hey, hi, I'm Deanna. Music used to be what I did for a living for 25 years. Then I switched careers and my hours in the practice room became minutes for, about 15 years. That cost me my trumpeting skills and my endurance. But about a year ago, I started playing more, and this year I'm still in the process of rebuilding my trumpet playing skills. So if you're growing your skills, or you're like me and you're rebuilding your trumpeting skills, then this video series is for you. And I invite you to subscribe because I'm walking through Clodomir's 70 little studies cover to cover, and I'm posting them here. And there's a lot of ground to cover with what Clodomir put into these little studies. In a sec, I'll play my best rendition of number 3, and then we're going into the practice room to have a closer look at the study, including a fun idea that I can barely contain, but you'll have to wait for it. So anyway, here we go with number 3. I really enjoyed working on this study again, and I practiced it over a few days in order to get it ready and bring it up. It was fun working the staccatos, which, as I said, I enjoy playing, but I also had to keep in mind that in this study, we have to play them accurately and consistently over all of the dynamics all the way through. We have to deal with the tension that can happen and why. Knowing why is helpful. And then ultimately, we have to have it sound musical because, well, it is music. So let's look at each of those, which I worked on as I prepared the study. And for my third point, that making it musical, I have a fun way to think about this particular study. It helped me, something that popped in my head. Maybe it'll help you. Okay, so first off, the big thing with this study for me was aiming for clean beginnings to the notes and then playing them short because they are staccatos. There were 3 things that I did in order to work this. I practiced repeated notes on single notes. Then I played repeated intervals. But I also found that there were some notes giving me grief. I think the notes giving me grief are the individual second beats. Pretty much all of the second beats, where it's bar of eighth notes, and then eighth, rest, and it's that second beep, bop, that I don't like how they're landing. They don't come out of something, they land by themselves. The other ones, like the first bar into the second bar, the first beat of the downbeat of the second bar has the first bar leading to it. It's part of it. And then there's this break and the second beat. It's all by itself. All the way through. Like it's just part of it. It's part of the first bar almost. That line. And then, second beat. And then the bigger jumps are more trouble. Ultimately, it doesn't feel bad to play, but I find those second beats a bit weird to play. And then the final thing to do with this is to play the piece through consistently so that the tonguing is accurate and the notes are short and the dynamics happen. I had to play it a bunch of times to have it happen all the way through like that consistently. Because as I went along, some part of it would be good, but then there'd be notes that would be a little... They've got a blatty sound about them. The ones on just the single eighth notes. To my ear, a bit of a blattiness. Or I'd miss the dynamics. If the ending was supposed to crescendo, that's what I did. I didn't really play fortissimo all the way through those last 4 bars. And, this also happened. 9th measure, I messed it up a little. I hit the notes, but it didn't sound like I'd been getting it. It wasn't even, and then it was a little wonky because that surprised me, and you're listening and watching, and then, okay, fortissimo, play to the end. It wasn't that the E was wonky, it was that I messed up because my mind wandered somewhere else before it. I fess up, my mind wandered. While I was working on playing the notes short, I was aware of something happening though. I could feel tension in my body. With playing such pecky little notes, it's easy to get really kind of tight because the air is, it needs to still go forward, but it's being stopped by the body. So I'm trying to stay relaxed while I'm still doing pecky little notes at pianissimo. We don't play as well if we're tense. So try to relax. So I stop, really brand new breath, try to relax. And then steady with the air all the way through the pianissimo, and then more air for the mezzo forte, but not as much as I'm going to do with the fortissimo, but keeping that air steady, and then more for the mezzo forte, and then even more for the fortissimo. All the while trying to stay relaxed. Because the way I see it, if you're tense, you're working against yourself. Finally, the ultimate goal with these studies, of course, that we're learning, it's how to play music. So I always want to think of what I'm playing as music, not just being a study. And while I was doing that, this idea came to me. This could be a trumpet solo in some piece of classical music. There are trumpet solos that are not too dissimilar. And so trying to think of it as, I'm on stage and I kind of pictured bears, little bears, and going along and sort of maybe a children's scene in some ways, just with a delicate kind of bears for some reason, and then maybe another bear joining, and then there's all these bears, but they're going along kind of like that. So number 3, I guess, is little bears. I'm not sure why. Now, I don't always imagine things like bears, but whether it's bears that you do think of bopping along or something else, studies can be a lot more fun if you think of them as music that you're trying to play with. Beautiful, like a ballad if it's a slow one, or boppy and light, or punchy and powerful. It's still music. All right, onward. One thing I noticed with this piece that I was doing, even with the metronome going, was that I was coming in late when I would take a breath. I had done a few good run-throughs that I thought might be my good rendition, my final rendition, but then when I listened to them, I heard that I was coming in late on the next beat after that breath. So I had to re-record and be super vigilant. I love working with a metronome. They can keep you on track, but at the same time, it's like, darn. If you found some value in this video, can you please give it a thumbs up? And if you want to come along for the ride through the remaining, I think it's 67 more to go of Clodomir's 70 Little Studies, plus I've got more content ideas that I'll be bringing out all about trumpeting, then, please subscribe. Join me on this journey, and we'll bring our trumpeting skills up together. And when the next study is ready, it's going to be right up here. And if this is the first time to your channel, maybe check out this video. It shares a little bit about who I am and my background and purpose for putting this channel together. Until next time, have a fantastic day and keep on playing.